electric here in Stratford-Upon-Avon, where P.E.W is with you for the third time. Unpredictable action on the way, and I don't think it's going to be anything like a foregone conclusion here tonight. Big Guns Joe in the ring, Dave Bradshaw here at ringside alongside Leah Raven. And Leah, how excited are you to be here at P.E.W?
Oh, I'm very excited making it, just debuting on commentary really. It's very nice to get around and meet some new people, and yeah, for sure. Get to observe that way too.
Making his way to the ring, this is the Martini Maestro, and hailing from Liverpool, she is Alexander!
Well, Big Guns Joe, by the way, is making his debut. It's the second time Chase Alexander has been here. The Martini Maestro, I think, has a distinctly sinister side to him.
Oh, of course. I've met both of these men a few times over the years, and yeah, Martini Maestro definitely gives the effect it's intended.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, that kind of sudden explosion of emotion that we saw there from Chase Alexander is something that Big Guns Joe is going to have to contend with, but of course, Joe has the stats advantage. Just checking that the up-to-date information I have is right. 76,521 grams, an enormous weigh-in for Big Guns Joe. How on earth can Chase Alexander compete with that?
Grams.
Yes.
No, I know both these. As you say, Big Guns Joe's making his debut here today, and I believe he's going to come here with a point to prove. Is he going?
Well, here we go. Bell rings, first match here on our main show at Foregone Conclusion. As I said, 4 championships on the line here tonight in Stratford-Upon-Avon. We are at the Shottery Memorial Centre. We thank you for joining us wherever you are. There's a collar and elbow tie-up, and the power, the raw power of those Big Guns of Joe is going to be something that Chase Alexander is going to have to find a way to compete with, but he gets the better of that opening exchange.
Big Guns Chase!
He tried.
Yes, pal, come on then. Yes, pal, yes. This side.
Crowd, I think, very much on the side of Big Guns Joe, who maybe is lulling Chase Alexander into a false sense of security by maybe allowing him to have the upper hand in these early confrontations here. That's all I can think, because Big Guns Joe, one of the strongest men in the world.
I mean, is he? I mean, yeah. Okay, fair. He has. He does call himself Big Guns Joe, and as you say, he's 76,500 and what? Sorry.
521 grams.
Grams. Got you.
That sounds like an enormous amount. Here we go, another lock-up. Chase Alexander showing some aggression here, but Big Guns Joe more than equal to it.
As you say, he's debuting today, so he's definitely coming with a point to prove. He wants to put himself over. He wants to be able to achieve everything here. But is Chase Alexander going to let him? Because he's used to this crowd. He's used to this company. He's been here before.
Chase Alexander on our first show, Brave New World, was part of a 4-way match to crown our first internet champion. A match ultimately won by H. Hood. That internet title, which is still held by Hood, will be defended in another 4-way match later on tonight. Alexander going to the ropes again. Shoulder block once more. Big Guns Joe is joeing up. Is that a word? Alexander to the ropes. These shoulder blocks not quite taking Joe off his feet, but they're getting pretty close. Chase Alexander is the aggressor. Alexander went for a clothesline, couldn't get it. It's a shoulder block from Joe, and the Martini Maestro goes down. Joe going to take a run up here. Alexander in trouble as a running uppercut in the corner. Joe's going to send Alexander to the opposite side of the ring, follows him in with another uppercut, and suddenly Big Guns Joe is on top.
Of course. Is he going to remain there though, David?
It looks like he's in pretty good shape to do that at the moment. He comes off the top, another uppercut, this time in mid-air. And Big Guns Joe on his PEW debut, maybe 3 seconds away from a victory. No. Big Guns Joe lining up. Chase Alexander going to try and I think force a submission. We're going to turn him over into a Boston Crab.
Thing is, Chase knows this move of Big Guns Joe. They've worked together multiple times in different companies. They've watched each other. Are they going to allow that?
He's got the ear.
If I remember rightly, Big Guns Joe had a recent op for cauliflower ear on that ear. So Chase is using that to his advantage right now.
Well, in that case, that's even more disgusting. I didn't know that, but if that's the case, then goodness me. Well, that is beyond a low blow, metaphorically speaking, to grab that ear if it's something that's a weakness. Clothesline by Alexander. Alexander trying to grind his forearm into the face of Big Guns Joe as he went for the cover there, and that's what I was saying. Beneath this exterior that he's kind of some kind of cocktail waiter, there is a real dark side to Chase Alexander.
Of course, and is there a reason behind that? Or is it purely because he knows he is good at what he does?
He certainly seems to be pretty good at what he does at the moment, as Big Guns Joe is finding out to his detriment.
Here we go.
Oh my goodness.
Backbreaker.
Backbreaker. Wow. Looking for the cover. But a 2 count. Innovative offense.
That looks a gruesome backbreaker there, David. He put
Certainly
everything
did.
into that.
Yeah, I mean, and the way he got into it as well was really quite unique from that suplex position, and follows it up with a big boot right to the ribs of Big Guns Joe. Joe is trying to fight back with some shots to the abdomen, but once more the aggression of Chase Alexander on full display. Will that be enough for him to get the victory? No, another kick out. Yeah, what do you think Big Guns Joe needs to do to get back into this at this point?
I think it's with Big Guns Joe, they've both got the experience here. They've both know each other's moves. They both know how each other get in and out of things. So I think right now they need to come up with a new way of countering what each other do.
Shot right to the lower back. That's going to affect Joe's ability to deadlift for a couple of weeks. Alexander trying to scoop him up, but instead, Big Guns Joe obviously didn't skip leg day, was able to get him up, but then that lower back gave out. And Alexander gets back on the upper hand here.
I think he was talking to you, Dave.
I think he was. Needs to focus his attention on Big Guns Joe, who is far from defeated just yet. Alexander, second turnbuckle, double axe handle, right into the skull of Joe. Looking for the cover, didn't hook the leg and Joe kicked out, but Chase Alexander, with every passing moment here, looks more and more like the eventual winner of this match.
Of course. The injury that Big Guns Joe has ascertained through his back from Chase Alexander is not. It's a smart move. He's took out the one thing that Big Guns Joe can use. That, to me, that's a smart move.
Joe, I think this is a smart move, trying to hold on to that top rope, but could only do it briefly. Big clubbing elbow right into the right ear of Joe. Alexander tried to get him, but hang on a second, a counter. He's attempted a counter.
Now that's something I've never seen before. Kneeing someone in the head while they're being lifted.
Oh, God. Ripcord into the elbow. And Chase Alexander mocking Big Guns Joe by showing off his own guns here. The boot right into the heart of Big Guns Joe. Alexander trained by the grizzled young veterans, by the way, which might explain some of that aggression, where he gets it from. You can see very much part of their influence in him, but Joe fighting back with the backdrop.
As you say, they're veterans. They've had the experience, so to learn from a mind like that, they're going to have passed on some exceptional knowledge to Chase Alexander.
Alexander, though, at the moment is struggling here to gain any kind of foothold against a rampant Big Guns Joe, who's just pounded Alexander down into the corner. The Martini Maestro suddenly looks like he's in some difficulty. Joe within that fireman's carry position. Alexander with the elbows. Joe
Is he going to be able to achieve what he's trying to?
Here he comes and plants Alexander. It wasn't pretty, but it might be effective. Joe running senton right into the back.
You've got to admire just the amount of emotion in here today, because obviously Chase has been here before and he's not allowing it to affect anything he's doing previous events.
The cover attempt again by Joe after that
Kick
move
out.
off the top. He nailed him with the elbow, but still only good for a 2 count. And Chase Alexander, having dominated long periods of this match, having to hang in there now, but doing so pretty effectively.
Yeah, both of them have done, in my opinion, I don't know about yours, have done really well. Chase with previous actions done at shows, he's probably in his own head. Is he in his own head? I'd say no. But then Joe's making his debut here today. He's trying to make a name for himself here with the people of P.E.W.
He clearly means business now as well, because he's brought the straps down as Big Guns Joe trying to turn him over again once more into that Boston Crab.
But again, Chase knows what that setup is.
Or maybe not. The determination here of Big Guns Joe may have forced a submission. No, it hasn't. Well, counter, in fact. Counter by Alexander. That was smart, and it was good for 2. What's he doing here? Oh, my goodness. Chase Alexander, look at the impact on there. Another 2 count for Alexander.
To be fair, that did look a bit longer than 2. Was it?
What's he doing here? Chase Alexander, what's he trying for? Plants him face first. That's got to do it. Hooks him up tight, and again, Big Guns Joe uses one of those guns to get out of the pin. And Chase Alexander's losing it here.
It did look a little longer than 2, though, so I can kind of get his frustration here today, Dave.
He's got to maintain his composure, right?
Of course,
You've got to focus on your opponent. You can't dwell on it for too long, because that'll happen. The pop-up powerbomb. And Big Guns Joe again trying for the Boston Crab. The tap out, the tap out, the tap out. And Big Guns Joe wins on his debut.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner by submission, Big Guns Joe!
Big Guns Joe took everything that Chase Alexander had to throw at him, but he would not give up on that Boston Crab. Finally got it locked in middle of the ring, and Chase Alexander had nowhere to go, no choice but to tap out.
I think both of these had so much raw emotion and so much to give in this match today, and they should be both incredibly proud of themselves. But I do believe that Chase Alexander, he got some smart moves in there today, Dave.
Making their way to the ring from London,
Mariah May going to kick off this Fallen Angel Championship tournament in honor of the late great Nancy Benoit. And Mariah May might just be one of the favourites out of all 8 of the women who are entered here. We've got 2 quarterfinals tonight, Leah. I don't know, when this tournament reaches its conclusion, maybe Mariah May will still be here.
Maybe. As Ben's just said, she's nicknamed the Gamma. She's an international wrestling sensation. She's been to America recently. She's learned trades from all over the world. Is she going to dominate? Are people going to be able to dominate the techniques that Mariah May's learned?
We don't have to wait long to find out. Mariah May first into the arena to kick off this very special tournament. At the end of it, someone will become the Fallen Angel champion. crowd here telling her what they think of her.
They could be cheers.
I mean, there could be cheers.
I mean, there could be.
Well, May's not happy with this response at all. She needs to kind of zone it out because I don't see this crowd relenting on her anytime soon.
Hurry, I want to go home!
And by special request, the opponent.
The debuts keep on coming here in PEW tonight. Echo Reed from Plymouth. I understand, Leah, you were talking to her before the show. She drove 3 hours to be here just to compete in this tournament.
You've got to big that up. 3 hours. 3 hours to make a name. I respect that. I can't say I don't. I do.
The women's wrestling scene in Britain, arguably the strongest anywhere in the world, and this tournament I'm sure is going to be highly competitive. Echo Reed would drive 100 hours, I think, in order to be able to be a part of such a prestigious 8-woman tournament. Referee James Greenwood, very experienced, and he's going to need to be here because it seems like Mariah May in particular could be quite difficult to deal with here.
I understand as well that Mariah May was part of an ITV2 series called Deep Heat.
Well, I think Deep Heat is a pretty good assessment of what she's had so far from the crowd here. Send Echo Reed into the corner, runs into her with a boot. Mariah May might say she wants to go home, but at the moment, looks like she might go home as a semi-finalist in this tournament.
She's got to be happy with that.
Another one of those boots right into the face of Echo Reed. Mariah May on top early on in this first quarter-final match of the Fallen Angel Championship Tournament.
I think to be a part of that championship, you've got to give it all you have. You've got to prove that you deserve a championship as well.
May got planted there, and here comes Echo Reed trying to build on that advantage. Gets shoved away by May. An arm drag, that was quick thinking from Echo Reed a second time as well. Mariah May, though, going to the ropes. Both women went to the ropes. Echo Reed with the cross body in the end, and it's good for a 2-count first near fall of the contest.
To say that she's getting a lot of heat, as you say, from the crowd, she's got over 100,000 followers on Twitter, I understand.
What does that mean when you're in a wrestling ring?
Well, you don't follow one if you're not a fan, do you?
I'm just saying. You can have 1 million followers, it doesn't matter. It matters what your wrestling skills are when you're in there.
I mean, you get followers from what you do. You gain the popularity from what you do. And it sounds to me like...
Have you verified that she has that many, or did she just tell you that?
I verified it.
All right.
I've got Mariah May on Twitter.
Oh, you follow her?
I follow
You're one of the
I
100,000,
do.
are you?
She's very, very good at what she does. She's an international wrestling sensation. She's learned from all over the world. Of course I follow her.
Well, look, she's clearly very talented in order to have been chosen to compete here. My point is, social media followings are irrelevant. It's who is toughest, who wants it more.
It just shows how big of a sensation Mariah May actually is.
Well, look, we could decide at the end of the contest whether you're correct there, because I don't know. Ultimately, we're in a results business, and that is what Mariah May needs here, a result to take her through to the semi-finals. May goes to the ropes, drop kick right into the jaw of Echo Reed. Will that be enough to put her away? No. A lot of support here for Echo Reed, as you would expect, given that, well, let's call it what it was. It was a tantrum from Mariah May before Echo Reed even entered the building here.
Call it what you will.
You disagreeing?
Nah, I'm just saying call it what you will. she's
The
good at what
tantrum.
she does.
What would you call it?
Character.
What? Sorry?
Character.
A character.
Character. Everyone has their own
Oh, is
character,
that-
Dave.
yeah.
You have your own character. That's why.
We certainly saw a deep insight into the character, if we're calling it that, of Mariah May, and I don't think what we saw was particularly endearing to many in this crowd, but
I think the followers disagree,
I
though.
was going to say, as long as she's got 100,000 Twitter followers, eh?
She doesn't gain followers if people don't like what she does.
There's a suplex, and maybe she's gained another couple of thousand there, because that was a picture-perfect suplex, good for a 1 count. That didn't go quite the way Mariah May wanted. She was taunting the crowd, and in the end, ended up starting up an Echo Reed chant. Referee Greenwood asking for a break, got it just before the count of 5, otherwise he would have had to disqualify Mariah May, and Echo Reed would have advanced to the semi-finals of this tournament. As it is though, those knees into the back means that Mariah May very much maintaining the upper hand. How many followers has Echo Reed got, do you know?
I've only spoke to her today. I've actually never met Echo Reed before today, to be quite honest. So I don't actually know. I couldn't tell you. Could you tell me?
I don't care, because I care how good she is inside the ring, and Echo Reed has been holding her own here.
Oh, for sure. And from the reaction she's got today, she's probably got a few too.
Goes to the ropes. Echo Reed gets clotheslined down by Mariah May. May thinks she's won it. Got a smile on her face here. Goes for the pin attempt. And wait a second. What's that about? Has the chance to win it. And pulling up the head of
Maybe
Echo
she's
Reed.
giving Echo Reed a chance to win.
It's
or
arrogance.
to.
It's arrogance is what it is. And she might pay the price for it as well, because here comes a comeback from Echo Reed. Reed plants her face first. Mariah May might rue the fact that she prevented that pin attempt of her own, because now Echo Reed headed up top. Big trouble here for Mariah May, maybe, but May was able to prevent what was about to happen from the middle turnbuckle.
Fan there saying, think about what you're doing.
A handstand from Mariah May. Maybe she didn't think that one through enough, because here comes Echo Reed. Tornado DDT off the second turnbuckle. Echo Reed looking ahead through to the semi-finals of the Fallen Angel tournament. And that left shoulder of Mariah May popped up to keep her in this competition.
She hasn't travelled 3 hours for nothing though, David.
She's proven that she is determined not to go back to Plymouth without a victory under her belt, and that's looking a little less likely though after that German suplex. Planted her.
Is that it? Is that done?
She's got both legs hooked, and she picks up the win. Mariah May into the semi-finals.
I do respect the fact that Echo Reed travelled 3 hours today to make a name for herself. And you heard the crowd here today, she's done that. But unfortunately, her skill set was not enough to beat the international wrestling sensation that is the glamour Mariah May.
Well, 100,000 followers or not, Mariah May, I think, has been impressive here. I will give you that. She has been mighty impressive in putting away a very determined Echo Reed. And while she might not be the most popular person in the building, given her, well, and we're having another, what are you calling it? Character. Another tantrum is what it is. I don't know why, because she's the winner, Mariah May, into the semi-finals of the Fallen Angel Championship Tournament in honor of the late, great Nancy Benoit.
This time, we're going to be joined in the ring by, I believe he's calling himself the new and improved Prestige. So, at this time, the Prestige.
It's a matter of opinion, new and improved. I think what Prestige did to Rye the Sound Guy back at Kings of Combat earlier this month was, let's call it what it was disgusting. Losing those tag titles and then turning on his partner rather. Talk about a sore loser, and we saw I think, the true colours of this man who calls himself Prestige.
I don't think I've ever met Prestige. Again, first time I've heard of that happening as well, so we'll just see what he has to say for himself. I mean, Ben said today, new and improved Prestige.
No longer the smiling face that we saw from the part owner of P.E.W. back on our first show when he became a tag team champion. Let's see him try and justify what he did at Kings of Combat, if he possibly can.
Stratford-Upon-Avon, you're welcome to be in the presence of the new and improved Prestige. And you know what, Dave Bradshaw, I'm going to say you're welcome too. You're welcome to find yourself with a far more attractive commentary partner than that bald-headed clown, Pete Andrews.
Was that a compliment to me? Or you? I think it was a compliment. Take it as a compliment, Dave.
Goodness in my heart, though, he finds himself suspended rather than fired. Because I'll take you back 16 years. 16 years ago, when the Prestige was just 15 years old, he had his first ever wrestling training session at promotion in Banbury. And at this promotion, Pete Andrews was one of the coaches and was the promotion's champion at the time. And he took me under his wing. He helped me. And 16 years later, after Pete Andrews has faded into obscurity and the Prestige has become a success in everything he's ever done, out of the goodness out of my heart, I gave him the job on the commentary desk. And what does he do? He runs to the ring and tries to get hold of my business. I mean, who does he think he is? Now he finds himself at home, suspended, you know, reading his comics and playing his video games. Who else is like Pete Andrews? Who else can play their video games and read their comics? No, I don't think so. I mean, hell, I used to do that too, but then I lost my virginity. Pete Andrews, I know you watch this on Power TV right now, and if you ever get involved in my business again, there'll be no more let-offs. I won't be responsible for my actions. Which leads me to that other guy. The guy that you
I'm guessing he's talking about your other partner on commentary there, David.
You got a better one. You know, again, out of the goodness of my heart, I knew that Ryder sound guy, his name's Ryder for those people that chant his name, pretend they're fans of him, but don't even know his real name. Ryder is his actual name. And he would like to come out and get whatever it is on his chest. And who he is. Come out!
Prestige calling out Rye the sound guy. There's a lot to digest there. We'll absorb some of what Prestige claimed and his twisted logic in a few moments' time. But here comes Rye the sound guy. Rye the sound guy, more popular here in P.E.W. More popular than Prestige could ever hope to be. He is a sensation here in P.E.W. Is Rye the sound guy.
I'm guessing he got the name because that's where he come from. The sound guy, right? Rye the sound guy.
On our very first show, Brave New World, when Prestige needed a tag team partner, Rye the sound guy stepped up and in his first match became one of the first ever P.E.W. tag team champions. A fact that Prestige very quickly forgot.
Make it quick.
Hi Prestige, how are you doing, mate?
I'm doing great.
I haven't forgot what you've done to me. The way that you attacked me after... Let's check the facts. You lost our tag team
See what happens?
Well, you know, I'm willing to let bygones be bygones. And just like I got an opportunity on our first ever PEW show, I'm going to take an opportunity right now to show you exactly what happens when you mess with me. So I want a match with you, right here, right now.
Yeah, good for you, Rye.
From what I can gather here, he's part owner of this company. He calls the shots. He can't just call out whenever he wants to.
Hell no! It's not gonna happen. Abbott. You've been riding my coattails far too long enough as it is. I'm not going to waste any more time with you, but I'll give you an opportunity. I'll give you an opportunity. You know, I heard you were going to come here tonight, and you know, I had a chat with someone backstage. And you know what? If you can beat this person, I will give you the opportunity to wrestle one-on-one with the Prestige. Let me tell you this, sound guy, you have no idea what you just asked for. Bring it on.
Well, who is it?
It's me.
Oh, come on! Well, this is... No, come on! This isn't remotely fair!
I do have to say that Jim Diehard, I believe, is quite a lot bigger than your Rye the Sound guy. He must believe he can achieve it. He gave him the opportunity. You heard it. I'll give you an opportunity.
Jim Diehard came very, very close at Kings of Combat to becoming the first ever PEW World Champion. He has dominated wherever he has been so far. Back at Brave New World, our first show, he decimated Axel Carter, and I'm sure Jim Diehard will be looking to make short work of Rye the Sound guy. Prestige is already making his presence felt, distracting Rye the Sound guy. Not that he needed the odds stacked against him any more than they already were. Jim Diehard now, a veteran of the UK scene, putting the boot in to Rye the Sound guy.
Yeah, he asked for the opportunity, and the deal was you beat Jim Diehard. You get a one-on-one match with the Prestige.
Come on, you can't begin to pretend that this is fair.
I mean, he has got a very a lot more advantage than Rye the Sound guy, but I would believe that Prestige himself, he's part owner, so he's not going to have done it if he didn't believe Rye the Sound guy could.
Oh, so he's trying to motivate him, is he? Unbelievable. Clothesline there from Jim Diehard. Prestige with a smirk on his face as he paces around the ring. By the way, some of what we heard from the Prestige prior to these other two gentlemen coming out here was pretty disgraceful as well. My regular commentary partner, Pete Andrews, came out here to save Rye the Sound guy after Prestige was committing basically an assault against him after that tag title match earlier this month.
It's one of them, like Prestige said, he got involved in business that didn't concern him, and it cost him his suspension.
It was a basic common decency was what it was, and Prestige obviously doesn't really know what that consists of. Pete Andrews, as we heard, suspended for the rest of the month following that altercation, you'd call it, with Prestige, who's making the most of Andrews not being here as he plays the role of cheerleader here for Jim Diehard. Rye the Sound guy is fighting back. Chop across the chest, and another one. Here comes Rye. Rye the Sound guy's done the impossible before, becoming a tag team champion. Can he do it again here tonight? Maybe he can. He's just taken down Jim Diehard.
Which proves my point. He would not have given Rye the Sound guy this opportunity if he didn't believe he could.
Oh God, look at this. Oh my God, what a spine buster. Wow. And just like that, Rye the Sound guy's opportunity to defeat Jim Diehard may be done. The powerbomb on Rye the Sound guy. Count to oh my goodness. Well, he's picked him up. Come on. Don't be ridiculous, just end this. You've made your point, just end it. The second powerbomb, and this time he does end it. Disgusting.
Here is your winner, Jim Diehard!
Well, Jim Diehard deciding one powerbomb wasn't enough. A second powerbomb, finally putting away Rye the Sound guy, and oh what? Prestige going to get back in here and gloat now, is he? Embarrassing.
Oh dear, oh dear.
I mean, he does have to address it. He gave him the opportunity, and it was a one-on-one. It was to win a one-on-one with Prestige.
Right, another opportunity that you just wasted away. I mean, Stratford-Upon-Avon, do you really think, right? Do you really think he had the opportunity to wrestle me? You want to see Soundguy wrestle me right now? If that's what you want, let's do it.
Oh, come on, this is ridiculous. Yeah, he wants to wrestle him now. Now he's been powerbombed twice.
See, he's giving him another opportunity.
Prestige immediately taking out Ryder Soundguy. Got him in a crossface here. Well, Ryder's got his foot on the ropes, and that's not part of the plan. Prestige thinks he's won it already. Hang on a second. Schoolboy roll up from Ryder. Come on, Ryder. Oh, no. That was a cutter from Prestige. May have knocked him out, and he does so.
Here is your winner, the Prestige.
What did that prove?
I mean, the idea for the first match was for Ryder Soundguy to win for a one-on-one to him. He still gave him the one-to-one. He's the owner, he can do what he wants.
Oh, so you're saying that it's all perfectly reasonable?
Oh, he still give him the one-on-one.
Yeah, but you know what the circumstances were. He'd just been in a match against Jim Diehard. He'd been powerbombed twice. How is that fair?
I mean, it's questionable. But he is the owner of PEW, part owner of PEW. He can do whatever he likes.
Well, he certainly feels like he can do what he likes, but Pete Andrews, I'm sure, is watching at home. And when that suspension ends, I'm sure Pete Andrews will have plenty to say to the Prestige.
Prestige, you really think you can escape from me that easily? You think you can escape from the Soundguy that easily? Next time we're back in June, I want a match, a real match with you, Prestige. Not one where you call in your friends to do your dirty work for you. I want a real match with you, the Prestige, back here in June.
Prestige has come back out here, and what a gutsy challenge.
You know, I don't know who you think you are. You know, you're not even a wrestler, you're a sound guy, now you're trying to make matches. You know what? Let's make this interesting, okay?
I've got the perfect idea to sweeten the deal for you. I'll do your job for you. If I win the match in June, you give me a PEW wrestler's contract.
I like that idea.
Not one way, Prestige. I'll make it fair for you as well. If you win that match, you will never see me in PEW ever again.
Okay, you know what? Because I'm an honourable man. Let's do it. June 4th, we're here next. The Prestige versus Ryder Soundguy. If I win, never see you again. I'll see you on June 4th. Enjoy your little stupid chance as long as you can, because it's not going to last much longer.
You heard it. 4th of June. It's going to be Ryder Soundguy against Prestige. If Ry loses, he's gone forever. But if he wins, he gets a wrestler's contract here in PEW.
There you go. He's part owner of PEW, and he's even listened to what Ryder Soundguy wants. He's the owner. He put that in place. Let's see what he does. Another opportunity for Ryder Soundguy.
Well, Prestige may be complacent about it, but maybe he's just made a big mistake. Ryder Soundguy has a date with destiny here in Stratford-Upon-Avon on the 4th of June.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following is for the PEW Internet title, and it is a 4 corners elimination match. Now, to explain the rules briefly, only 2 men will be legal at one time. To enter the match, you must tag in and out to be considered legal. Introducing first. Ladies and gentlemen,
another debut, Polish Barry, here in P.E.W, and he has a chance in his very first match here to become the internet champion.
Yeah, again, another person I've never met before or seen before in action. So it'd be very good to see some new faces and see how they work and what they do. It's a great thing about making debuts. You meet some amazing people.
Keep the dust up.
Another debut, Toby Valentine. Very pleased to be here, clearly, and he can be even more pleased in a few minutes' time if he walks out of here with championship gold.
Yeah, definitely. Very energetic.
For the record, I know we're supposed to be impartial, but I would happily see either of these two gentlemen win over our current internet champion.
Oh, really? I've never met Toby Valentine either.
Oh, you'll see.
Two new ones.
And the opponent.
A legend of the UK scene, James Mason, here in P.E.W, and no offence to anyone else in the contest, but you've got to think, given his decades of experience, he's wrestled all around the world, James Mason must be the favourite here to walk out as internet champion.
I mean, again, that experience, the more experience you have in this business, the more you know and the more you can do.
James Mason has mixed it up with the best in the world. Will he add to his remarkably impressive resume by adding another title here tonight at Foregone Conclusion?
And the opponent.
Oh no.
Okay.
H-Hood won the internet title on our first show at Brave New World, and since then, he has defended the title at Kings of Combat. Now a chance to defend it again. He believes, by the way, that because his first victory was against 3 opponents, that counts as 3 victories. So in H-Hood's mind, he has a mind, he is 4-0.
Right. All these are new to me, so this is going to be interesting to see and observe today. But he seems he's got a bit of beef with you there, Dave.
You know what? I happily remember a time in my life when I didn't know H-Hood.
Happily.
I'm very jealous that you haven't, until this point, had to cross paths with our esteemed internet champion. From the mean streets of Sinfin. He says they're mean. Are you familiar with Derby?
Not a clue.
No, so well, I guess we'll take his word for it.
I'm not very good at geography, if I'm honest. You'll probably know more about me.
Well, I'm pleased to say that I have never been to hang out with H-Hood in Sinfin, so I can't vouch for the fact that they are the mean streets, the toughest neighbourhood in Derby, as he'll tell you.
Oh, I couldn't tell you. My geography skills are not high at all. You probably know more about it than I do. And that's me being honest.
So, in any case, H-Hood mocking the other 3 competitors in the match for having the basic decency to shake hands. So just to recap here, the rules of this one, 4 corners match, and it's an elimination match. So 2 men legal at any one time. You can tag either of the men on the outside. When you are pinned or submitted, you return to the back. We keep going until 1 man is left standing, and that man walks out of foregone conclusion as the internet champion.
Okay.
What do you think, everyone?
Seems simple enough, right?
So we're starting with Toby Valentine and Polish Barry, the 2 debutantes here.
It's not bad.
I say 2, but James Mason, of course, is making a debut as well. It's only H. Hood, who has been here in P.E.W. before. He believes this is his yard, I guess, but well, we'll see what the other 3 make of that.
We've got some pretty good talent making debuts then, so that's pretty cool. I'm debuting on commentary, we've got debuting in wrestlers. It's a good day.
Polish Barry is backed into the ropes. We get a clean break from Toby Valentine. Valentine getting a little bit agitated by this constant verbal abuse from our internet champion.
What is this? How can he be allowed to keep singing like that?
So if he beats 3 more men tonight, will he say he's 7-0 after 3 matches?
Maybe that's how it works.
I'm sure he thinks that's how it works, but unfortunately no one else in the world does. But either way, Polish Barry once more backed into the corner here by Valentine. Valentine again obeying the referee's instructions, and apart from H. Hood, this has been conducted in a very sporting manner so far.
Maybe that's how it works, because think about it with the logic that he's using. When Undertaker was 21-0, he pinned in singles matches every person 21-0. Maybe he's going by the amount of people he pins, because is it meant to be by match or is it meant to be by person?
I'm sure H. Hood will have it whatever gives him the higher number, but that doesn't make it true, does it?
I mean, you pin a person, it's a win, isn't it?
Yeah.
And in this match, you're pinning the person and eliminating.
It's 1 match.
Yeah, does it go by matches? Who says it goes by matches?
Anyway, hopefully,
I can kind of get to see the logic in that.
hopefully it might not be an issue we have to address, because H. Hood could yet be the first eliminated here. But right now, he's not one of the 2 legal men. It's Polish Barry who's trying to get out of this predicament here against Toby Valentine. Going to try and send him to the ropes. Reversal of the whip from Valentine. Shoulder block, and neither man goes down. He's going to try once more. And again, kind of a stalemate on the shoulder block.
I don't think anyone saw that, but H. Hood just tagged in.
Yeah, H. Hood, yeah, you're right, I didn't see it either. There's
Toby Valentine was not expecting that.
a blind tag there from H. Hood. I don't think anyone would have willingly tagged him in. I don't think anyone wants anything to do with H. Hood. Valentine sweeping the arm. And now Toby Valentine with a chance to make what would be a tremendous statement here if he can take out H. Hood. Hood's internet title reign in some serious jeopardy here as he goes to the rope to the leapfrog. A reverse leapfrog, great agility from Valentine. Toby Valentine rolling out of the ring is Hood. Hood knew he was in trouble and he bailed to the outside. Cowardly.
Is it cowardly or is it smart thinking? Getting out so you can get your bearings, get back in and fight for that championship.
I don't know if he's got his bearings now. He's just been thrown against his will back into the ring. Crawls underneath. There's a tag. Took the cheap way out. Did H. Hood.
Giving these guys another opportunity to get that championship.
Now it is James Mason with his years of experience with that side headlock on Valentine.
He has a serious problem with you. What did you do to him?
I think maybe I told the truth a couple of times and he doesn't really like it.
Was it?
Well, I thank him for his advice.
I think you offended him, Dave.
The feeling's mutual, I assure you. Anyway, James Mason here with Toby Valentine. Mason with that wrist lock, trying to control Valentine by his left arm. Good shoulder roll here to try and release the pressure, and in fact released himself entirely, did Valentine. Mason, such a master technician. Look how ably, how competently, and how rapidly he took down Valentine there. H. Hood just pacing outside the ring here at the moment, but Valentine and Mason are the two legal men. Remember, only two men legal at any one time. Well, Valentine went for a tag, and H. Hood didn't want any part of it. There's a roll-up on Mason, and Valentine nearly got him. I'm still quite trying to get over the fact that Hood wouldn't accept the tag.
Doesn't have to get in, does he?
You would think, being a fighting champion, he'd want to compete.
Sneaky tag there.
Yeah, now he does. Now there's no immediate danger, or maybe there is, because there's a kick from Mason. Mason with a slap across the face of H. Hood. Wipe that self-satisfied grin off his face. Now here comes Polish Barry. Polish Barry backing H. Hood into the corner. Chops him in the throat there. And now the tag to Valentine again. And I think there is one thing that the other three competitors in this match can agree on, and that's they want H. Hood out of there.
Oh, for sure. Is this just a pure gang up on the champion though now?
Can you blame them?
I mean, I don't know anything. These are all new to me. I've never met these guys before. And I don't know anything that's happened previous, but I just think he's being ganged up on right now.
Well, Mason came pretty close to taking H. Hood's shoulder out of its socket there, and now double team, and a right hand to the face of H. Hood.
Cruel, David, cruel.
Trying to maintain the impartiality here, but again the double team on Hood. Mason asking the crowd if they want to see some more punishment dished out to H. Hood. I think that was a fairly unanimous answer, wasn't it? Mason getting aggressive here against Hood. Tried to pin him down, got a 2 count. And that is what you're supposed to do when someone asks for the tag. Polish Barry happy to oblige, and here he comes. Hood now, again bailing.
Smart thinking to get out.
Yeah, as soon as the going gets tough, never mind being a champion, just get out of the ring.
He's just been ganged up on by 3 men. I'd get out of there too.
It's one at a time. It's a 4 corners match.
When you get tagged, there's 2 in there though, Dave.
Polish Barry taking a run up here against Valentine, who got the elbow up. Valentine now to the rope clothesline. Big body slam, takes him down. Valentine believing he's seconds away.
And there's that sneaky tag again that nobody's noticed.
Was there another tag? Hang on now.
There's a second.
Well, there was a tag. So the referee saw the first one. He certainly saw the second one. H. Hood's legal. He's going to try and steal the pin. This is what he did at Brave New World. And there's an elimination. Valentine's out.
Can you not admit that he's using very smart tactics here though, Dave? As a champion, he's protecting that championship.
Oh, wait, roll up by Mason, roll up, and he got 2. There's an uppercut from Mason, and H. Hood.
Mason tried using one of Hood's own tricks against him. It didn't work.
Yeah, well, I think Mason will know more tricks than H. Hood. There's that hot dinners. Here we go at the crucifix pin attempt. Difference with James Mason is he doesn't need to use the tricks.
He just tried and it failed, but so far for H. Hood, it has been working.
It is an unfortunate fact that H. Hood so far was the only pinfall of the contest. Toby Valentine been eliminated, and we are down to 3. So I guess a 3 corners match now. Polish Barry can be tagged by either of the 2 men currently in the ring. The champion H-Hood and the veteran James Mason. Mason with a knee right to the forehead of Hood. There's a tag to Polish Barry. Barry though nailed Mason. Now a roll up. The roll up by Hood. The roll up by Hood. Having yet the trunks. Having yet the trunks.
Polish Barry got too distracted, and H-Hood took advantage of that, and rightly so.
He's laughing in the face of the man he just eliminated, yeah. Well, what a champion, eh? What an ambassador. Ridiculous. The snap suplex from Hood.
Now it's 1-on-1.
It is. So we're down to a simple singles match now. Hood against Mason.
So it really is, whether it's the tricks and the smartness of H-Hood or the veterinary and the experience of Mason.
Well, we'll see. At the moment, it's H-Hood who seems to be just squeezing the life here. You can see Mason is trying to relieve the pressure. He's even got his hand on the top knot of H-Hood.
Is that a slight little snigger there, Dave?
I just said I was just describing his hair. Mason now backed into the corner. Here come the shoulder thrusts from Hood. Mason into the corner with authority from the champion. H-Hood with both of the pinfalls. In this one, remember, he got all three in that previous four-way at Brave New World that won in the title in the first place. Can he go 3 for 3 here? Maybe no. Right shoulder came up for Mason and kept him in it. Mason looking to become the second internet champion in PEW history. Body slam from Hood.
So far, all I'm seeing is why H-Hood is champion right now. He's used every single little bit of thing to his advantage, and right now, the more experienced.
Oh my goodness! Well, how about now?
Well, it's down to experience and the smart mind of H-Hood.
You wouldn't see James Mason spending 20 seconds announcing that he's about to hit an elbow drop and then missing it. H-Hood, so eager to hear the sound of his own voice, and it might just cost him the internet championship. Snapmare, here comes Mason, off the ropes. The somersault splash goes for the cover, hooks that right leg, and Hood gets out at 2, just about.
We want more! We want more! We want more! We want more! We want more!
Mason sensing, as he has done so many times in his career, that championship gold is on his immediate horizon here. A monkey flip sends Hood across the ring. And H-Hood not so confident now, is he, that he's going to walk out as internet champion. Another flip attempt. Oh, Hood with the counter. Hood's got his foot on the ropes. He's got his foot on the ropes. He's got his foot on the ropes.
Your winner and still PEW Internet Champion, H-Hood.
Well, James Mason's absolutely right. Yeah, the feet of H-Hood, you saw that.
Again, the ref didn't see it. So, right now, H-Hood is still your internet champion.
Oh, come on. You can't condone that.
The ref didn't see it.
I know the ref didn't see it.
I'm not condoning it. I'm saying the ref did not see it. Therefore, it's legal. He's still your internet champion.
H-Hood, I think that the decision's going to stand. Our internet champion has stolen another one.
3 for 3 pins as well.
What is his problem?
I genuinely think you might have offended the guy.
Well, you know what? He's offended everybody here by the manner in which he stole that match and retained the internet title. James Mason should be the champion.
I mean, everyone, stand in the road.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is a triple threat match. And it is for the PEW Women's Championship. Introducing first.
comes another opportunity to challenge for the P.E.W. Women's Championship for Rio. Rio couldn't get the job done one-on-one last time around at Kings of Combat earlier this month against Aurora Tevez, but a three-way match so unpredictable, and Rio of course will have learned very much from both of those previous occasions that she's faced Aurora Tevez here in P.E.W. Could this be her night?
It very well could be. Again, I've met Rio in the past and I've seen her wrestle, and the sheer just brutality and the things she can do in the experience she's got as well. She's part of Northwest Strong, and that whole group is so talented. You cannot deny they're not.
She is part of Northwest Strong, and again, strong, the operative word. Rio is a really quite intimidating athlete, and I'm sure for Aurora Tevez, she's used now to competing against Rio, who has proven to be very much her equal. Very much, not much at all to call between them, but a new element added in here. A woman who, of course, won the right to be the #1 contender at Kings of Combat by winning a four-way match. Harley Hudson with a real chance to make some history here tonight in Stratford-Upon-Avon. She is 9 stone of Scouse Girl power. Harley Hudson with the chance here to become the P.E.W. Women's Champion. And you just get the feeling with Harley Hudson that the way she performed last time around and the way she's walking to the ring here tonight, that Hudson believes that this is her moment.
Of course, I've met Harley before, and she is the Hoodzilla. She's called the Hoodzilla for a reason, and we've interacted a few times on Twitter. I would love a match with Harley Hudson. I'd love to.
Here comes the champion. The reigning, defending, and so far the first and only P.E.W. Women's Champion all the way from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. This is Aurora Tevez.
Again, briefly met a couple of times, and again, these women in wrestling right now are just so talented. They're building up the scene, I would think, in British wrestling.
All right, well, let's go to the ring, to our ring announcer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is for the P.E.W. Women's Championship. Introducing challenger #1, standing in the corner to my right. They hail from Liverpool. They are 9 stone of Scouse Girl power. This is Hudson Harley Hudson! Introducing the challenger #2. Standing in the corner to my left, representing Northwest Strong and hailing from Preston, this is Rio! And introducing the champion, hailing from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Trouble never looked so good. This is Aurora Tevez!
The formalities out of the way, the P.E.W. Women's title about to be decided. Leah, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who is going to walk out of here as the women's champion?
Right now, I could not tell you. As I've said previously, these women in the women's British wrestling scene especially, like, these are building a lot for themselves in the scene right now. And they're all so talented.
Aurora Tevez is currently top of the mountain, but Harley Hudson and Rio both climbing towards the summit. Who will be number one here in PEW at the end of this three-way match here at Foregone Conclusion? Bell rings, we're underway. Aurora Tevez and Harley Hudson combining here, double teaming against Rio in the early going. Actually with the suplex goes Hudson. Remember the rules here in a triple threat situation are that first person to score a pinfall or a submission over either opponent, I should say, walks out with the PEW women's title. So of course the champion, Aurora Tevez, doesn't necessarily have to be involved in the decision to lose the championship.
Not at all, and I think it's anyone's game in this match. I've met all of these women, and again, I'm going to repeat what I've said twice now. They are super talented. I couldn't tell you.
Well, we're seeing just how talented Aurora Tevez is here in the early going. Hang on a second though, Hudson with the counter. Roll up for an early one count. Rio's been dispatched to the outside, so it's Hudson and Tevez in there at the moment. The backbreaker from Hudson. Hudson's going to try and pick up the early victory. One count, but that's the right idea. While one of your opponents is neutralized on the outside, try and get the win over the other one.
Of course.
Lee, you've been in triple threat matches, presumably. So what is the strategy? Because, given that there's two opponents, not one, you kind of have to have eyes in the back of your head here.
I haven't actually been in a triple threat match, Dave, and that's one I've never done. But, again, thinking about it, you have to have eyes both ways. You have to be able to see where the other one is, just in case. And it's very hard to do that. It's very hard to concentrate on one opponent.
We might be champions. Sorry to interrupt you, but there's a cover there.
See what I mean? It's so difficult to keep an eye on the person you're trying to pin and the person that's not present.
Well, yeah, I think your point was proven as you were speaking there, because Harley Hudson going for the cover, and as you say, Rio, in the meantime, has snuck back into the ring, broke it up. We're back to square one here between these three.
If what I've heard backstage was true, I believe that Rio attacked both Harley and Aurora last show. Am I right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right, because earlier in the show, as I said, Harley Hudson had become the number one contender. Then after Tevez had beaten Rio one-on-one, goodness me. Hudson came out for a kind of a stare down, I guess, with Tevez, and Rio decided to interject herself, and it worked for her because she ended up being added into this match.
Of course, and it's one of those, you're defending yourself, and look where it's got her. It's got her back in a title match. She got what she wanted.
Wow. Head of Aurora Tevez just snapping backwards there onto the middle turnbuckle. I don't know how Harley Hudson feels, having gone through that four-way match to become the number one contender, to now find that she doesn't get a one-on-one match for the title. That's got to annoy Harley Hudson, right?
It would, but at the same time, it gives you an extra hurdle to come across. It gives you an extra way to prove yourself, because going against not one but two opponents, it's very difficult to do, and when you do it, pays off.
All right, now it is Rio with the upper hand. Rio, of course, been part of this women's title picture since the beginning of PEW back in February. A brave new world, and believing that she has the chance to walk out of here tonight at the third time of asking with the title. And this might be the moment, because there's the cover and a kick out on 2.5. Rio seeing Hudson coming back in, quickly cut her off at the pass and sends her straight back to the outside. Now Tevez trying to tackle Rio.
It's not enough.
Yeah, that big clubbing blow across the back. Talked about being Northwest strong. You're seeing that strength with those strikes from Rio.
Yeah, but think about the group of Northwest Strong. Look at the strikes they lay. She's learning from some of the best.
Lots of people talking about Rio as one of the future superstars here in the British wrestling scene. Never mind the future, she's doing pretty good now.
Of course. There's been a few mixed signals with Rio. I've heard some boos, I've heard some cheers, and I think everyone deserves to be cheered here today, but I don't think the boos are warranted for Rio at all, from what I've heard.
I mean, she comes out here obviously with a pretty antagonistic attitude, but I do think a lot of fans respect just what an athlete she is. As the 2 count there.
Of course, I think she believes she's been robbed of this championship, and I have to agree if the story everyone's been telling me is right. For her to come out and attack both Aurora and Harley, it shows how passionate she is about this championship. And like you said, look where she is.
There's a drop kick to the side of her head, and the championship she might be about to win. Harley Hudson saw it happening and saved it.
Again, that just shows how unpredictable a triple threat is. I've never been in one, but to have an eye on the opponent you're about to pin and the one that's not present is so difficult. And you have to balance the two.
It's already unpredictable enough when you're inside a wrestling ring, I'm sure, to have that extra opponent.
Of course.
I say like I'm talking from experience, I'm not, but there's an elbow right to the face of Harley Hudson, and Rio could win it. That's what I was talking about earlier. Aurora Tevez, the champion, was on the outside, nearly lost the title without even being inside the ring.
Of course. It's so unpredictable. Anything can happen in a triple threat. Anything can happen and anyone can win in a triple threat.
Rio, quick vertical suplex on Harley Hudson. Tevez is trying to pull herself back up onto the ring apron. Tevez trying to get back in, and Rio saw her coming.
Again, she's keeping both her opponents down, and that's something you've got to be able to do in a triple threat. You've got to keep one down and concentrate on the other to pin them. Rio's making a great game plan here. Yeah,
it's a textbook strategy, and it's been well executed so far by Rio. So many moving parts to contend with in this environment, and there's a knee right into the abdomen before she again kicks the champion outside of the ring. There's a full Nelson now. The full Nelson, look at the viciousness of the full Nelson. If Hudson taps, we've got a new women's champion. Look at that, listen to the screams.
And here's the Hoodzilla. 9 stone of Scouser.
Harley Hudson powering out. A lot of competitors would have tapped out immediately in that full Nelson, but Hudson showing just how much will to win she has. Rio, look at this from Rio, pounding away on the champion who's covering up. Hudson trying to battle back, but Rio is just absolutely dominant here. Big body slam. More and more, it looks like Rio's night. What's she dragging Tevez back in for? What's she doing?
That's cool.
Rio. Oh my God, slams her down on Hudson.
And that's keeping them both down, Dave. She's using everything she has to get that championship. She's so passionate about getting a championship. She's got both of them.
Gonna pin them both. Gonna pin them both.
Imagine the 3 count on both of them, Dave.
Whether you call it arrogance or self-confidence, it is certainly something from Rio. Rio nearly got it done.
I call that passion, and she's keeping both of them down so she can keep an eye on both at the same time, and that's so difficult in a triple threat match. And you've just seen, she's able to achieve it.
Oh, I was about to say Rio is, as you were saying, dictating the pace here, but Hudson with that shot to the back has maybe changed that. Says quite a lot about Rio, though, that Aurora Tevez and Harley Hudson are having to combine their efforts here to take down Rio.
Of course. But are they going to be able to keep her down? Because one has to win. One has to win this triple threat.
Some good signs there for Tevez. She beat Rio 3 times to the punch there, the third of them being a swing blade, and now Aurora Tevez sees that Hudson has got back into the ring, trying to get a submission, trying to force a tap out here from Hudson. Look at the bridge from Aurora Tevez.
That is locked in. But again, she's got to keep an eye on Rio. And there you go. Rio's just broke that submission.
Rio broke it up. And that, I guess, is a sense from Harley Hudson's perspective in which this not being a one-on-one match maybe did help her, because I don't know how she would have got out of that if there wasn't a third competitor in the match.
Exactly.
Rio is down. Here comes Tevez, getting caught up. There's a spine buster by Hudson. Rio though, big elbow to the side of the face. What is this from Rio? Rio with Hudson in big trouble, drops her on the back of her neck. Rio is down. Holly Hudson is down. The champion, Aurora Tevez, is down.
It's all about who's going to get up first and who has got the energy to get the job done today. Who is going to pin that 3 count and become women's champion? Are we going to have a new champion, or is it going to remain Aurora Tevez?
Who wants it more? Because as you say, I think whoever gets up to their feet first here could have a critical advantage. It's been an absorbing 3-way match for the PEW women's title, and it's not done yet. Rio's up first. Rio is up first.
Straight on the aggressive.
The strikes to the face of both Hudson and Tevez. Hudson's trying to fight back. Tevez is as well. And here's that temporary alliance forming again between Hudson and Tevez. Rio is covering up. Oh, there's a kick. The kick to the side of the head of Hudson. Hudson's been taken out. The counter. Rio is trying to win it against Tevez. There's the kick to Rio. Rio may be out cold. Tevez hooks both legs, and Tevez retains.
And everything can change so quick like that.
Even with the unpredictability of a triple threat match, Aurora Tevez found a way once again to retain the women's title.
Again, that was an amazing match by all 3 ladies, but as you can see, a triple threat is so difficult to achieve, and with the unpredictability at the end, that just went completely out of the way, because most of that match, Rio was the aggressor.
Well, Rio, I'm sure, can take some solace from the fact that she was, as you say, on offense for a large portion of that match. But that's not what the history books are going to show. The history books might just show that picture right there. Aurora Tevez clutching on to that women's championship match. Women's championship belt, I should say, as she has been able somehow to hold on to it again tonight at foregone conclusion.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is for the PEW Tag Team Championships, and it's scheduled for one fall. Introducing first. Ladies and gentlemen, being coming into the ring by
Shottery, number 1.
Wow, Chocolate Rave on their way to the ring, a uniform tag team. We've seen them both here before, fighting for themselves, but Lance Rivera and Chocolate Thunder, what is that? What was that? Attacking Ben Cecil, our ring announcer. Lance Rivera, that should cost him some money. Lance Rivera's going to be fined for that. Chocolate Thunder and Lance Rivera, the challengers for the PEW tag team titles. God, they're obnoxious. You're looking like you disagree.
I've met these guys before. I didn't see that. All I saw was their ring announcer on the floor then.
You didn't see it?
Oh, I didn't see it.
Of course not.
And the opponent.
Taylor James, Jack Torino, collectively, the Rebellion. Of course, earlier this month, the Kings of Combat, they defeated Prestige and Ryan the Sound Guy when they were still a team to become the tag team champions. But will it be 1 and out in terms of title defenses for the Rebellion?
Who knows?
I've been critical of the Rebellion and some of their antics in our first couple of shows, but it's hard not to root for them against two opponents like Lance Rivera and Chocolate Thunder.
I do know. I have met Playboy Prince Lance Rivera outside of other promotions, of course. He can be quite unpredictable. Have you seen the feud he has with Simon Hill?
I have not seen that, but it doesn't surprise me because I'm sure that Lance Rivera, whatever he has said, has been incredibly unbearable and deserves every bit of abuse he's getting from Simon Hill on Twitter. But
it started off, I believe, TNT. It's now moved to Odyssey as well as on Twitter in your own time.
I mean, look at him. Look at Lance Rivera. He's just about got one of the most punchable faces I think I've ever seen in a wrestling ring.
That's the most aggressive thing I've heard you say all day, Dave. I'm
Well,
quite
look.
impressed. First time I'm meeting and seeing Chocolate Thunder in action today, so it's going to be interesting today. I've never met the Rebellion either, so again, these guys are new to me.
Lance Rivera with a bit of jaw-jacking here as our referee, James Greenwood, holds up the PEW tag team titles. That's what it's all about. Lance Rivera and Chocolate Thunder collectively, Chocolate Rave, looking to become the third PEW tag team champions in as many shows. Chocolate Rave. Here we go, tag team titles on the line, the third of 4 championship matches here tonight at Foregone Conclusion. Much like all of our other matches here for the various titles we've seen, this one is anything but a foregone conclusion, a very serious threat early on in their title reign for the Rebellion.
I believe you can turn around and say that Lance Rivera was just running rings around the member of the Rebellion.
You're going to have to wrestle him at some point. Lance Rivera starting things out here against Jack Torino, who calls himself, get this, the MILF Hunter. Make of that what you will.
Who calls himself that? That's Lance Rivera?
No, Jack Torino.
Okay. I thought you said Lance Rivera there.
What he does in his own time is up to him.
The
Torino.
MILF Hunter. Wow.
Torino and Taylor James from Southend, which they're very keen to tell us is the newest city in the UK. Rivera though biting the fingers there of Torino to gain himself an advantage. Look at this, gyrating in the face of Torino is Lance Rivera. Torino battling back. This test of strength early on, he went for the bite the second time. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And Torino did not allow himself to be fooled. Not for that second time. Up drag and goodness me, Rivera sent spinning across the ring.
Of course.
Face first into the turnbuckle goes Rivera, tag team champions with a hot start here. Torino showing how comfortable he is in the ring as he sends Rivera out.
That was quite smooth there, Dave. I'll have to give the Rebellion that. I've never seen them before. I'm already impressed.
This was a Rumble match. Rivera will be back in the locker room now. As it is, it's a tag team title match, and Torino was able to put the brakes on just as he was going through the ropes.
Believe it or not, Dave, it all started as a feud with Simon Hill in a Rumble match, I believe. I think it was the second lot of aggressing that happened. He was eliminated from a Rumble.
You know what? I think wherever Lance Rivera goes, he probably starts a feud with someone because of his, what should we call it, unique personality. In any case, the other half of the tag team champions, Taylor James, tagging in. There's a poke to the eyes of James from Rivera. Another shortcut taken by Rivera. And Rivera, I think, he's gonna allow Chocolate Thunder to tag himself in. Oh, that's a wow! Rivera got pulled towards James and a miscue between the challengers. James to the rope, shoulder block, Chocolate Thunder goes down.
Already, but look at the dynamic between the Rebellion and Chocolate Rave. The Rebellion are working together, and already Chocolate Thunder has already hit his tag team partner, Lance Rivera.
Well, yeah, I think it's probably a product of the fact that they're a much more experienced team. The Rebellion have been teaming with each other for a number of years, whereas this is very much a new pairing between Rivera and Chocolate Thunder. But it's a great point because that tag team synergy clearly just isn't there yet. They're going to need to discover it pretty quickly. Taylor James using the ropes as tools to help him administer more punishment to Chocolate Thunder. Well, Rivera's invited himself into the ring and
straight away eliminated again.
That's 2 Rumbles he's been eliminated from.
Does so they might start a bit of an argument with you there, Dave.
Second time, by the way, we've seen Chocolate Thunder. He was part of our Golden Ticket Rumble on our first show as a double dive, stereo dives from the tag team champions, taking out Chocolate Rave. Got him by the beard. That was a high-pitched squeal from Chocolate Thunder.
That must have really hurt though, Dave.
There's the tag. Rebellion with the double team. Double hip toss. Double cartwheels. Double drop kicks. I think this is the best we've seen from the Rebellion, and they're already tag team champions. They are getting better and better. Jack Torino and Taylor James.
It's one of those, a tag team match. It's about the energy between partners.
Oh, wait a second, what's he doing up there? That's ridiculous.
It's a smart distraction to get the up hand.
No, it is a distraction, because look at this, Lance Rivera putting the boot in on Jack Torino. What was that? Unbelievable.
But like I was saying, tag team championships are about the energy between tag teams. It's about how they read one another. It's about how they work together. And the Rebellion has shown that. But does Lance Rivera and Chocolate Thunder know each other well enough to pull it off?
And suddenly, we were talking about that coherence of the tag team. It's suddenly looking pretty good from the challengers. They're obviously learning how to work with each other, and they've managed to isolate Jack Torino in the challenger's own corner. Going for the cover here is Rivera and got a 2 count.
Yeah, again, that distraction has given them the up hand, which again, as a tag team, gives them an up hand overall.
Rivera with the tag to Chocolate Thunder a moment ago, and Thunder is the legal man. There has been frequent tags between the challengers in the past few minutes. Chocolate Thunder lining up. It's a booty call. The uppercut from Chocolate Thunder. He calls this. Yeah, well, you heard it. The sprinkles. There it is. The leg drop from Chocolate Thunder. Lateral press. Didn't hook the leg, and Jack Torino kicked out. Otherwise, we might have had new tag team champions right there.
Exactly. Again, the dynamic between tag teams, how they work together, how they get the up hand. Like you say, them tagging in and out quite frequently, they're retaining the energy. They're giving themselves time to get their energy back and going straight back in. The more energy you have, the more you can do to them.
Well, that's going to knock some of the energy out of Jack Torino. A suplex with authority there from Lance Rivera. And Rivera, his arrogance, getting the better of him. And he got a 2 count. One part of that personality of Rivera might be arrogance, but the other part's aggression. We're seeing it here. Now look at this with the distraction to the referee, and Chocolate Thunder choking out Torino. Tell me you saw that.
Again, it's that distraction for the tag team opponent.
Another 2 count. Rivera getting frustrated, I think, but he is not.
There's that number 1 chant that we so frequently hear.
You know what? You're number one if you're a tag team champion, and at the moment, Rivera is a challenger, not a champion.
Will he prove he's number one today? Because I've seen him in singles matches, and it's one of those, he keeps saying he's number one, but he's constantly being eliminated from rumbles or taking a loss. But in a tag team, how he's working with his tag team partner, is he going to have the upper hand?
Hang on a second, here comes James, Taylor James, getting the tag in, and they needed that because Torino had been in there a long time. Taylor James, a house of fire here against Lance Rivera. Counter the Irish whip though from Rivera, went for a clothesline, couldn't get it, and instead the swing blade takes down Rivera. Face first into the turnbuckle, Rivera's in big trouble, here comes Torino again.
Here's that tag team dynamic we've been seeing.
Rivera got the boot up there though, that bought him a couple of seconds. Again the stereo kicks from the Rebellion, sweeping the leg of Rivera. Taylor James with the big boot. Oh my goodness, into a spear!
From the Rebellion.
They call that My Weekly Planet, the cover! Is that enough? No, it's not! Again though, we're seeing what those years of experience as a tag team mean for the Rebellion. They came as close as either team have to winning the match there. What's
They
this?
work together with that dynamic.
What is this now? Hang on, from that wheelbarrow position. Wait, he's on the foot. Hang on, what is that? It's the second time. The second time there's a victory roll. Don't let it happen this way, for goodness sake. No, 2 count. What is wrong with you? Oh, wait a second, there's Death by Chocolate. Death by Chocolate from Chocolate Thunder. Oh, and just about Taylor James saved the tag team titles.
And all 4 wrestlers in this match are down.
Only temporarily as James and Thunder are back up. Well, it was right in the nick of time. There must have been, what, a 1/10 of a second left for Taylor James to save the match there. From the pump handle, a twisting slam from Taylor James, a super kick from Rivera. Taylor James on the outside, Torino and Lance Rivera. Tried to kick the leg away, did Torino. And Torino over the top using the rope to the advantage on the rebound, gets the suplex.
The distance on that though, Dave.
The drop toe hold on Chocolate Thunder went face first. Torino, the smile on his face, but again, come on, this is ridiculous now. How many times?
But both of her tag team partners are down.
With a slap! Chocolate Thunder. Thunder, oh, what a double team! Don't tell me! We're gonna have new tag team champions! New champions, no! That left shoulder came up. 2 count only and the match continues.
But we've just seen that Lance and Chocolate Thunder do have that tag team dynamic.
And that has been growing, I think, as the match has gone on. We've seen more and more of it, as you say, from Rivera and Chocolate Thunder.
Come on, Choco.
Oh, got Taylor James again, saving his tag team partner. Thunder was looking for a neck breaker instead. Look at this. Hang on a second. Scoops him up. The powerbomb into the kick from James. The Rebellion may have just wiped out Chocolate Thunder. Rivera's down and out on the outside. Look at this from the Rebellion. Here comes Taylor James into the cutter from the wheelbarrow. Torino makes the pin, and they are still the tag team champions. Chocolate Rave tried this about everything, every dirty trick in the book, but Jack Torino and Taylor James still retaining the PEW Tag Team Championships.
It wasn't enough, was it, from Chocolate Rave and the dynamic from the Rebellion? You just can't get those years of tag teams. Leave my hat. I think he's very angry.
I think it's fair to say Lance Rivera's not very happy.
I don't think I've seen Lance Rivera happy for a long time. The feud on Twitter, the continuous losses I've seen him have, I don't think I've seen him happy, and I think that's what's got in his head today, unfortunately.
I'll tell you who is happy, Jack Torino and Taylor James. The Rebellion walking out of foregone conclusion, still the tag team champions here in PEW. A statement of intent. Wait, what's this? Wait, who's that? That's Riley Nova. Who's the other one? That's Brady Phillips. We haven't seen Brady Phillips here before. What is this assault for? Riley Nova, Brady Phillips.
I have no idea what's going on here.
What else can happen here? Brady Phillips with something to say, apparently.
My name is Brady Phillips, and I'm here to inject some talent into phenomenal elite wrestling.
Putting the boot in.
I am the never pale alpha male Riley Nova, and we are here to put this whole tag division on notice.
We're definitely putting the tag team champions on notice. They are sending a message here. Nova with the tag team title belt right to the face of Torino.
They've definitely sent a message here.
It's still not done. Taylor James, the next victim lined up. Look at this, off the powerbomb into the backcracker. My goodness. Wow. Message sent and received from Riley Nova and Brady Phillips.
Signed, sent, and delivered.
They have got a hold of the tag team championships. Obviously, the Rebellion still the champions after that victory over Chocolate Rave, but maybe the bigger headline here is that this pairing of Riley Nova and Brady Phillips have launched a vicious assault on the tag team champions.
They've said they've come to send a message, and I think they've delivered that
They're leaving with the belts.
I think
They don't own those championships.
I think they're about to say they are the tag team champions, or going to be.
Wow. Phillips and Nova walking out with the championship belts. Rebellion still the champions, but they don't have the gold to prove it. What just happened?
I know about as much as you do. That came out of nowhere.
We've got an absolutely great match. We've got an absolute cracker coming up, and it should cheer us up after what we had just witnessed there at the hands of those two men. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is a quarter-final match for the Fallen Angel Championship Tournament. Introducing first.
Radley entering into this quarter-final match in the Fallen Angel Championship Tournament, second quarter-final we've had tonight. This tournament held in honor of the late great Nancy Benoit. course, earlier tonight we saw Mariah May advancing to the semi-finals. Can Ruby Radley join her there?
Well, we are about to find out, aren't we? I'll tell you something. I haven't met her opponent here today before, but I've seen her in action once before, and the dynamic in her tag team is pretty unbreakable. I can't say I've ever seen her in a singles match. This is definitely new to me. Can she pull the same effect and pull it off? Can she do the same?
And the opponent.
Aurora on her way to the ring, not to be confused, of course, with Aurora Tevez, our women's champion, but Aurora herself could be a champion if she were to win this tournament, this 8-woman tournament, to crown the first ever Fallen Angel champion. And earlier on, we saw Echo Reed, who come all the way from Devon. Aurora coming here all the way from Cornwall, coming from all over to compete in this tournament.
It clearly means a lot to him, though, doesn't it, Dave? Are you willing to travel the distance to make a name for yourself and get what you want? And clearly, these women are.
Second of 2 quarterfinals here tonight at Foregone conclusion as this tournament gets underway. Aurora looking very intimidating in that mask. Ruby Radley not looking particularly intimidated by it, but
Doesn't phase her at all, does it?
not outwardly. Here we go then, Aurora and Ruby Radley about to compete in our second of 2 quarterfinals here tonight in the Fallen Angel Championship Tournament. Aurora having plenty to say. We'll see if she can back it up as they start to compete here. Ruby Radley with the crowd on side, no doubt about that. If you're Mariah May, you're already in the semi-finals. Who do you think you would rather see in those semi-finals? Who do you think Mariah May would like her chances against better?
I couldn't comment. I really couldn't. Again, as we've seen some amazing talent this evening, and these two are no different. Again, this is the first time I've seen Aurora, so I have no idea of her skill set or how she does things. So we're about to find out.
Big chance for Aurora, who, as we said, comes all the way from Cornwall. Ruby Radley trying to back Aurora into the corner. Just step by step, trying to do it, but Aurora at the last minute. A quick shove into the face, just kind of a pie face there to make her point. There's definitely some mind games going on. You saw Aurora coming out here with a headlock takedown. I'm going to say you saw Aurora coming out here in that mask. Radley trying to say that she was not impressed by that, and now Aurora with that slap to the face. Definitely as much a mental game as a physical game in these opening moments.
Of course, and so far up till now, Aurora's been the aggressor.
That's a good point. She certainly has been. And side headlock by Aurora. Radley's going to send her to the ropes. Goes down low, trips her up as she comes off the ropes. Smart from Radley, and Radley straight back on top with that headlock. Back and forth between these two in the opening moments. No clues really to who is going to have the upper hand long term, but Aurora.
No, it's been pretty even.
Yeah, Well, Aurora trying to gain an advantage by pulling the hair there. Did you see that?
To be fair, I can't comment. I didn't see anything. I'm glad you did.
You do seem to miss a lot of the rule breaking. It's very convenient.
I genuinely didn't see it.
And there's a single leg drop kick from Radley. Scoop up body slam from Radley. Aurora finds herself in some difficulty here. There's a split leg drop. Stays on it for the cover and got a 2 count. Bradley picked her up. Aurora, though, had a few moments there to recuperate. She's looking to capitalize on that. Radley is swinging a miss, and suddenly, look at this. Planted on the back of her head is Radley. Aurora to go through to the semis, and it's a 2 count.
Anything can happen in these matches, Dave. If there's a championship involved with this, you're gonna see some mad things happen. You're gonna see all the tired and all the energy leave. And they're just going to refuse to give up. That the championship is involved.
Aurora there choking out her opponent, Ruby Radley, on that bottom rope. Another choke here again, using all of that 5 count. Referee reprimanding Aurora, who I think replied, "What are you going to do?" Aurora apparently not much respect for the authority of the official.
Clearly not, but it's
Pulling the hair now, come on.
Okay, I can see that.
You can see that?
I can see that one.
Good.
I can see that one. That was pretty obvious though, Dave. The other one, I genuinely didn't see the other one.
Thank God you're not a referee.
I know, a few things would go amiss.
Aurora.
I think I'd be a pretty good ref.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Could
was
be
right.
I
interesting.
think some of the competitors who are more prone to rule breaking might quite like you as an official. But anyway, the knee right to the temple there of Ruby Radley may have knocked her out. Aurora gonna try and claim a victory. Oh, she's not even going for the cover. Maybe that's a mistake. But she's got her feet on the hair. Her feet on the hair.
Does she realise that?
Does she realise it? Come on.
I mean, her hair's under her head and she's not even looking really.
The referee, I don't think, has necessarily noticed. He wasn't calling for the break. He was asking Radley if she wanted to give up. Aurora knew exactly what she was doing there.
Tactics, Dave. All about tactics. And you're going to see a lot of tactics and things being used. Again, there's a championship involved and they're going to use every single thing they can to get it.
Plenty of tactics, not much ethics. Not much moral fortitude from Aurora, who's prepared to do whatever it takes here.
I think everybody's the same. A lot of all
God.
competitors are going to use whatever they
Not
have.
everyone breaks the rules. That's not fair.
Well, I didn't say break the rules.
It's a German suplex planted on the top of her head there was Radley. Aurora may have knocked her out. No, she hasn't. Might have been just on instinct alone, though, that Radley kicked out.
The willpower is still there.
I mean, the stakes are high in this
Of course.
tournament. Remember, if you win this match, of course, you're to the semi-finals. You're just 2 victories shy of becoming the first ever Fallen Angel champion in memory of Nancy Benoit.
But let's just go through to that, Dave. That in memory of Nancy Benoit, look what Nancy Benoit achieved and what promotion she'd been to. Look what she achieved in her lifetime. To be able to hold that championship is an honour in itself.
And that, I think, speaks to the fact that people have come from so far to compete in this tournament.
Of course, it's people like Nancy Benoit that has made us do what we can do, what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Trailblazers for the healthy women's wrestling industry that we have here in 2022. And I'm sure Aurora and Ruby Radley grateful for trailblazers like Nancy Benoit, but right now it's Radley who's trying to make this her moment in the quarterfinals.
But just look at what I mean, that last bit of energy she had to do that, just to get her a little bit of space to recuperate and go again.
Now it's Radley who's first to the blow here on Aurora. Aurora gets clothesline down. Radley a second clothesline. The uppercut in the corner. Suddenly Aurora's in big trouble here. Second uppercut. The snapmare. Radley's going to the ropes. Drop kick right into the chest of Aurora. Gets her body weight down on the shoulders, but couldn't hold it for the 3 count.
It's not enough. Which one's going to give up first? And it's not easy for one of these to give up, like I said, with the stake that it has.
And if you can't make your opponent give up, then maybe knock her out. Maybe that's the plan here. You just got to get your opponent stunned enough to keep her down for the 3 count, but that's, I'm sure, much easier said than done.
I believe anything goes in things like these because of the stake is spiffed straight to the gut of Ruby Radley.
Cover and a kick out. Again, I'm very glad you're not a referee. Anything goes.
I mean, it does. Like, regardless of where I stand on anything, I believe everybody gives it all they have, and they will use anything to try and get to that stage.
Oh, no doubt. Everyone's going to try and leave it all in the ring here. We've seen that throughout the night, not just in these tournament matches, but in the 3 championship matches we've had so far. A 4th one still to come. World title on the line next, but not before we work out who's going to the semi-finals. And at the moment, it looks like it could be Radley after that boot to the face.
Straight to the jaw of Aurora.
Into the corner, but Radley put the brakes on, got the elbow up into the jaw of Aurora. Radley's got her measured here. Caught her on the way down, that body weight and the knee into the face. The kick out though from Aurora.
This is going to be difficult to get one pinned. You're going to see every single little bit of energy leave one of these opponents.
Radley's on the second. Turbo, oh, what a double foot stomp. Right to the stomach. Ooh. The cover. Is that going to do it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Radley's into the semi-finals.
But there you go. Anything goes from the top rope, Dave. From the top rope, a double stomp to the gut.
Yeah, Lee, you're absolutely right. It was going to take something special, I think, for one of these 2 women to win this, and that double foot stomp was really vicious. And it was enough, as you say, to send Ruby Radley through as our 2nd semi-finalist in the Fallen Angel Championship Tournament. So Ruby Radley and Mariah May advancing to the semi-finals from our 2 quarter-final matches here tonight.
I think that's going to be a very interesting matchup. Mariah May versus Ruby Radley for possibly getting the championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for your main event of the evening. This match is scheduled for 1 fall, and it is for the PEW World Championship. Introducing first at this time.
Here comes a young man who's very much owed an opportunity to become the PEW World Champion back at Brave New World. This man, Joe Lando, actually defeated Martin Kirby to make it into what should have been a chance for the world title to become the first world champion earlier this month at Kings of Combat. COVID ruled him out of that opportunity, and in the meantime, Martin Kirby, as we know, cashed in his golden ticket and claimed the world title for himself. So Lando, if he can beat Kirby like he did in February, he's going to walk out here as the champion of the world.
It's quite interesting, is it? But it's quite unfortunate that Kirby took him out of that opportunity. But Martin Kirby had the golden ticket and he used it and he won.
Like him or loathe him, he is the phenomenal elite wrestling champion of the world. He is Martin Kirby.
I know of Martin Kirby. I've never seen him wrestle in person, but in the wrestling industry, he is a very talented individual.
I agree with him. I agree with him.
You agree with him?
Martin Kirby was getting some abuse from one of our younger fans, and I thought it was pretty well deserved.
I mean, it's a kid does what they do, but you agree with it?
Martin Kirby is the champion, but for how much longer? Let's take it to the ring for our official world title match introductions.
I'm already carrying it. How can it not be mine? Sorry, Liam. I know you've got a job to do. Carry on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is for the Phenomenal Elite Wrestling World Championship. When the bell rings, the man in charge, James Greenwood. Introducing first, the challenger, standing in the corner to my left. He is from Peterborough. This is just Joe Lando! And the champion, standing in the corner to my right. He hails from first. He is Project Eagle and is your P.E.W. World Champion, Martin Kirby!
I think it's fair to say more boos than cheers for the world champion.
I mean, there's a mixed reaction, isn't there, right there?
Put it mildly. That's what it's all about, the PEW World Championship. Martin Kirby is the holder. Joe Lando, who defeated Kirby in February, wants to win it here.
You're offending a few people tonight, Dave.
Martin Kirby needs to focus his attention on Joe Lando, a man who defeated him once before. And in the recent past at that.
I'm the champ! I'm a champ!
Martin Kirby getting some abuse here from some of our fans. Again, pretty well warranted, but we'll have to deal with that. And Kirby been wrestling a long time, and you know, we talked earlier tonight about experience advantages, and there's no doubt whatsoever that Kirby has that over Joe Lando.
Of course, yeah, like I said to you, like right at the beginning of this, Kirby is known in the wrestling industry. Now, I've never seen him live, but I have seen some of his matches, and I do know of Kirby, and he's a very talented wrestler. So it's all about whether just Joe Lando can kind of beat that and get over it and find a way to go over against the Martin Kirby.
Joe Lando, a very confident young man, as he has a right to be. He's proven to be one of the most exciting young competitors we've seen on the British scene for a long time. Very innovative, great high flyer, but he's more than that. He's a very capable all-rounder, is Joe Lando.
I respect high flyers, Dave. I have to admit, I do respect high flyers because that's some fancy stuff and it's very technical. And to do that, they have to be talented.
He's part of the group that call themselves close personal friends. Another part of that, of course, is Callum Newman, who replaced Joe Lando here on Kings of Combat last time around and ended up in that, what became a three-way match with Kirby when Kirby cashed in his golden ticket. Took both Callum Newman and Jim Diehard by surprise to become the first ever PEW World Champion.
It's one of those. It's when he got that upper hand and he used it. He can use it whenever he likes. He can cash it in whenever he likes, and that's what he did. He used that opportunity. And look where he is now. He's the champion.
Kirby won a Rumble match at Brave New World in February to win that golden ticket, which, as you say, he then cashed in very effectively to become the world champion, and that's a very effective shoulder block to take down Joe Lando. Going to go to the ropes again. I'm not sure you want to compete with Joe Lando at a high pace, though. That's exactly where Lando thrives.
But look at the experience. He caught it.
Look at that,
and he countered it.
Yeah, Lando, so good at high speed. Flipping over, so unpredictable as well, is Lando.
But look at the unpredictability about going for one thing and it being countered continuously in this match. And I think that's something that's going to have to be, it's going to be made crucial in this to be able to counter it and end it.
Lando off the middle rope at that time. Kirby telegraphed it and the drop kick took Lando out.
In my personal opinion, that's the problem with high flying, because from a big height, if you take a hit, that's a long way to drop and it'll take a lot of energy out of you straight away.
Well, they call it high risk for a reason, right?
They
It's
do.
feast or famine when you go for those moves, and Joe Lando is one of those guys who's just constantly living on the edge, on that brink of success or failure.
That's what I mean. That's why I respect high flyers, because it takes a lot to be able to do that stuff, and it takes a lot of ability to do that kind of stuff as well.
Lando goes to the ropes here, and the knee of Kirby very deep into the abdomen there of Lando. Kirby, I'm going without saying, but it's particularly true of Martin Kirby. He's not a very good loser, pretty sore loser, and he would have taken, I'm sure, as he goes for a cover again, taken exception to the fact that Joe Lando defeated him in February. Make no mistake about it, Kirby will have been stewing over that in the weeks since, and he will be desperate, quite aside from the championship, to correct the record here by beating Lando.
All right. I've never seen him in person, so I couldn't comment on how he reacts about losing. But again, it's that experience against ability in this match. It's not just against experience, it's experience, agility and ability in this match.
Kirby's in some trouble in the corner. Lando, I think, maybe took a couple of seconds too long, gave Kirby a chance to recuperate. And if there's one thing you don't do, it's give Martin Kirby a second chance, because he'll take it, and he nearly took it to retain the world title.
That's the problem with this, because he's got that experience. He knows when there's a window to take it, and he knows. He's got so much more experience on Joe Lando. So has Joe Lando got the ability to outshine that experience? I don't know whether that's going to be a thing.
Oh, what a backbreaker from Kirby. What a backbreaker that was. Kirby going to try and pick up the win here, and I'm kind of pleasantly surprised that Joe Lando was able to kick out of that.
Yeah, definitely. Again, you've got the experience, but then you've got like the power against with Martin Kirby as well. Look at there's only he might be smaller, but the power that he had behind that backbreaker, is it going to have been enough to take him out of some things for high flying? Because the back's a lot, as well as your legs.
Look at this now. There's plenty of power, by the way, behind that Russian leg sweep, but now using the leg of Joe Lando against him. Look at the angle of that right leg, and now contorting that right arm as well.
That is not a natural angle to be held at as a human being. That's not a natural angle. But again, he's concentrating on those limbs, because as a high flyer, you need your legs.
It hurts just to watch that.
It's a bit cringy. I can't even lie. It's a bit. Ooh.
Lando got to the ropes, and he needed to, because Martin Kirby was just torturing the challenger there. Now still putting the boot in. Referee wants a break. James Greenwood.
Again, using that full count to do as much damage to Joe Lando as he physically could. Again, the back.
Kirby with that intense look in his face.
You're an ugly little pink child, just like him.
Wow. Martin Kirby.
Strong words.
Yeah. Again, we've seen it a few times tonight, but Kirby is the master at not endearing himself to the fans. Orlando's back on his feet here. Kirby's getting cocky. Might come back to haunt him, because here comes Lando. Lando with the elbows. Time and again to the face, but Kirby gets him in the midsection. Lando shoves him away. Double foot stomp right into the heart of the champion.
Again, it's giving him that window to recover, which could be detrimental to Kirby, because he's got the ability against Kirby, but at the same time, Kirby also takes those windows and it's giving them both time to recover. So once one gets up, one's going to be able to use their agility, their ability, or their experience to take the other one out.
Both men up to their feet at roughly the same time. Kirby got clotheslined after trying a clothesline of his own. Spinning kick right to the side of the head from Lando. Lando drops the knees onto the shoulders of Kirby. The champion is reeling here.
And there's that agility I was talking to you about that Joe Lando possesses. Is Martin Kirby going to be able to out-experience that?
Comes Lando. Lando, tornado DDT! Joe Lando with the best spell of offense that we've seen from him since the opening bell here. Lando perhaps moments away from a world championship. Joe Lando off the top with a senton bomb. Picture perfect from Lando. Is it enough? No, it is not. Kirby holds on, and at the moment, he is still the world champion.
He is. That was really close for Martin Kirby, but it wasn't close enough for Joe Lando. So Martin Kirby's still in this. He's still got that ability. He's still got that energy enough to kick out. So has he got the energy to finish this match off?
It's what you said earlier. Lando always prepared to take a risk. He'll go straight back up top here. Kirby doesn't seem to know where he is. Joe Lando off the top. Kirby moved out of the way and Lando moved in midair, but Kirby looking to take advantage. Shot right into the chest of Lando. What is this from Kirby? Jarring the spine of Lando. Kirby hooks the leg and Lando kicked out.
Both of these wrestlers are giving all they have against the other opponent and neither one is staying down, which is quite amazing to see. But at the same time, who's going to give up first? It's like previous. There's a lot on the line in this match.
Yeah, what a main event this is turning into between Kirby and Lando. World title is on the line. The stakes could not be higher here in PEW. Oh my God, what a kick. Lando won't go down. Joe Lando won't go down. A second kick, and Lando absorbs that one as well.
He's refusing to give up, and that's heart, that's passion. But at the same time, Martin Kirby is the champ.
He got him! He got him! German suplex with the bridge! Lando! No, two. Woo!
Anything can change at any point.
Goodness me.
The other will be waiting for that opening, because the other one will be willing. When you start getting tired, the other will wait for that opening and give it all they've got. And like I said, the championship is on the line.
Do you hear that? Lando said he's going to finish it here.
Is he going to be able to, is the question. What's he got in store for Martin Kirby?
Oh, Kirby got the knee. Kirby got the knee into the head to counter Lando. Here comes Kirby. Charges! Eats turnbuckle. Lando may have drawn him in there. Oh, the referee got hit! The referee got hit. It was inadvertent, but referee James Greenwood got hit. Well, Kirby is down.
The ref is out.
Lando could possibly win this, but there's no referee. Wait, that's Jim Diehard. Jim Diehard! Oh my God, a spine buster. What's he doing here?
I have no idea.
What's he doing?
The ref is oblivious. The ref's out.
Kirby's looking for the win. There's no referee. There's no referee. Here comes a second referee. Second referee looking to register the pinfall here, and Lando survives. Lando survives.
Even with that distraction and that extra bit of what Diehard just did to Lando, he's still kicking out.
Kirby can't believe it. I have no idea why Jim Diehard is out here helping Martin Kirby. But hang on a second, oh, the kick to the face. Lando somehow found some more energy. He's planted him with a falcon arrow. What is Diehard doing now? This is ridiculous.
I have no idea what's going on here.
Why is he here?
I don't know.
Oh, Lando's trying to send him back from where he came. Lando, despite the presence of Diehard, could still win the world title. Lando's headed up top. Wait, that's
What is going
Riley
on?
Nova's out here again.
You haven't seen it.
And there's Brady Phillips. Brady Phillips with the shot. And Ivy is here with the baseball bat. Ivy with the baseball bat which got planted in the face of Lando. Why are they all out here? Why are they all out here? Kirby with the cover. Kirby with the cover. And he has stolen his world title match.
PEW champion,
What is happening? What is this?
I have no idea. But I believe all these people that are out here are here for Kirby, and if there's one thing they've done is send a message to Joe Lando and all of PEW tonight.
Martin Kirby seems to have recruited an army. Riley Nova, Brady Phillips, Jim Diehard, Ivy, all of them apparently aligned with the PEW World Champion. Well, you've got to feel for Joe Lando. Lando had every opportunity there to win it if it wasn't for the fact that Kirby had not one, not two, not three, but 4 people interfere on his behalf.
They've definitely sent a message though, haven't they, Davey?
We might be about to get more of a message because Kirby's got the microphone.
Let's find out what's going on.
No. We're not looking out in this ring and not cheaters and not losers. We're winners. You're the absolute best that British wrestling or wrestling anywhere in the world has ever seen. Just look at the talent stood in this ring. Look at all the gold we hold. We've got Brady Phillips, one of the best technical, ruthless wrestlers ever seen. We've got Riley Nova, the future of wrestling. This guy has no limits. Jim Diehard, one of the toughest, most aggressive, deadly, no-nonsense wrestlers anywhere in the world. And then we have Ivy. Oh yes, Ivy. She's the baddest woman to ever lace a pair of wrestling boots. You saw what she did earlier, and she's coming for that title, whether the Royal Television likes it or not. And this is a notice to all.
Sam, listen! Sit down!
This is a notice to all you ugly fans and all those idiots backstage. We're coming for those titles. We're going to hold every single championship this company has to offer. And you know why? It's not because we deserve it. It's because we're entitled to it.